Spring is a time when new things happen. That's why we have our green on. That's why I love rhubarb so much. I love it when it just, like a rhubarb just is like it's not there and then all of a sudden it's there. That's what I always think. Maybe I don't pay attention closely enough, but I get excited by rhubarb. You know that about me. And soon it will be time for sunflowers as they start to come up through the earth as well. Tulips are out, crocuses, the lilacs have bloomed. We saw a purple lilac bush, or purple, a lilac-colored lilac bush with a white lilac in the middle of it last night. It was very cool. The smell, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm out on my scooter, so I noticed all the smells of Saskatoon, and the city is downright fragrant the last 2 weeks. It's really beautiful. I mean, it fills my head up, but it's still very, very beautiful. The crabapple trees, the plums, the cherries, everything is just popping out there. Spring is a time when some things are renewed, but always God has a few new things that happen. There might be a new strawberry, what do you call a strawberry, a vine or a bush or plant anyway? What? A patch. There might be a spontaneous strawberry patch just pop up because they're trailers right over here. Or always in our yard we get new raspberry bushes pop up. They sneak over from the neighbors' yards. They know no boundaries or etiquette, just for the record. But, you know, I'm always amazed at how many more raspberry bushes arrive each year. Spring is a time when new things happen. When was the last time you tried something new? Can you remember the last new thing you did? Think. New. Trudy's laughing. I'm not sure if I want to know about her new thing or not. It wasn't funny. Can you think of a time, any time, you tried something new? You could go back to Anna's age if you have to. But I'm sure you've tried something new since you were 5 or 6. I'd like you to turn to one another. Talk about it. Stewardship Sunday. So we're going to add a little energy by talking to one another. Talk about something you did that was new. Now, I know you're tempted to talk about other things. This time, just talk about something you tried new. And I want you to talk about, like I did with the kids, how that felt to try something new. So you think about where you were, think about what colors you had on, or what the thing looked like you were trying, or who encouraged you to try it new, but also how you felt about that new thing. So just take a minute or two and turn to one another and talk about sometime you tried new. Does that feel right? Okay, new people, springtime people, Pentecost poppers. Pentecost poppers was my new term for this week, and it doesn't mean Pentecost poppers like in rags, like poppers, like P-A-U, but poppers. Because I was thinking about lobster popping from last week. So we're Pentecost poppers. That you sound like that this week because you're all so excited about what you tried. That was new. Norma, theater was something new for you, wasn't it, a few years back? Was that your first time? That's right. No, but it was the first time in a long time. Everything old is new again. That's right. Anybody else want to tell me about how they felt when you tried something new? Scared? Scared and excited at the same time. Get butterflies? What did somebody say back here? Very frustrated. Yeah? Anybody else? It was something Elaine had been trying to do all her life, or waiting to do. So it was dancing. Yeah, they're downsizing from 1,350 to 1,000 something. 1,000 and change. Yeah, you're that high off the ground excited about it. Wait till you realize that 800 of it is Norma's and 200 of it is for your stuff. See how excited you are then, my friend. The chalk line is being drawn as we That's black tape. So they've downsized to a new condo. Lots of people have to go through that in their lives. Not always with excitement, Len. That's great that you're excited about that. That's amazing. That they're excited? That is amazing that they're excited about that. And sometimes when we try something new, when we think about trying something new, we get worried or anxious about it. And sometimes we're not sure if it's going to work out. The stewardship team had planned for this Sunday, and they did this months ago, back like St. Patrick's Day, I think they were writing me about this. They were going to grow something new that they have never grown before for this Sunday. You may notice, it wasn't a raging success. But Lisa's got a great story to tell us about growing something new. Lisa and Denise?
Okay, so yeah, when we were first starting the stewardship campaign, talking about what we wanted to talk about, we talked about trying something new, and that was when we were all saying that, you know, I've always wanted to try and grow. Denise said pineapple. Kate said she wanted to do an avocado, and I said, well, I always wanted to try an apple from an apple, you know, from an apple. So I went home, you know, thought about this for a couple of weeks, and then I threw some apple seeds into the water, and you know, gave it a couple days, and then I went and bought some dirt from Dollarama and threw it in some dirt and just put it on my windowsill. I don't have a lot of sun in my house, so it was, you know, that was another thing. Yeah.
Huh.
But of course I didn't do that, and and so after she said this to me again, I went home, and I was quite discouraged, and I went and I looked, and I had a little tiny bit of something coming up, and I was just all excited, and you know, because I don't get a lot of sun, it's still a work in progress, but I still have something.
Hey, that looks really great.
So I was quite excited about that, and that just shows you that you can do anything if you get your heart and mind to it, and even if you don't look it up on the internet.
Even if you don't listen to Denise. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, Lisa. But
Pete and I did everything by the internet.
yeah.
Both of ours.
So the pineapple growing and the avocado growing, they did by the book, by the internet, you know, which you can always believe. And nothing happened. And free and loose here, she just we call that loving neglect. And and then all of a sudden it started. But I just love the story that this is classic story about trying something new. We're worried about trying it because we think there's rules or there's a way that it has to be done. And so sometimes we don't try something new because of the box that some people would try and put us in about the way things should go. Have you ever not tried something new because you thought, I won't be good at it the way that you saw it happen, or the shoulds that come along with it? I call it the should box. The new thing should look like this, or I won't be that fantastic at it like I should do. Why I met the office administrator in Saskatoon, Lynn, just found out the other day, world champion fencer. Had no idea. And she trains world-class fencers. And I said to her, Lynn, I've always thought I had a body for fencing. I said, and for upright base. I said both, right? And she said, actually, you do, because you got the reach. You'd be, crazy on the fence. But I thought of 4 years ago, either I've tried pottery or fencing. I've tried neither. Do you know why? Because you think, I won't be good at it. Some 4-year-old will kick my backside with the fencing or something. And you think it should look like this. So we are resistant to that. Stewardship is often lived out in a box like that. We often aren't the best stewards we can be because we can do stewardship of comparison. We think, well, I can't give as much as so-and-so if it's money we're talking about. Or I'm not as talented a quilter as that person, so I'm not gonna try and use my gifts that way. Or whatever it is. Our gifts are often stymied or stalled because of what we think those gifts should look like when they're lived out by other people, those people, the Joneses. It's like trying to fit new wine into old wineskins. I don't know why we're like that, but we think about something new, and we have a little bit of a dream, and it's exciting, and then we kind of quash that dream by shoving it into old wineskins. It's got to look the same way it's looked for thousands of years, or hundreds of years, or the last time we saw somebody do that really well. That's putting new wine into old wineskins, and as Jesus says, that's silly, because the new wine will burst, or make the old wineskins will crack and leak. He says it's like sewing a new piece of cloth onto an old coat. It'll pull away from the fabric. It'll pull away from the fabric because it's so new, and it's got a lot of life in it, and the old fabric doesn't. That's the way we are about new stuff so often. There's so many new things hiding right now inside each of you. It's like I've said often over the years, Bay Street in Toronto is filled with men who should have been ballet dancers. There are thousands and thousands of men who should have been ballet dancers who aren't. Most of them on Bay Street, I imagine, in suits, working and ignoring their families and all that kind of Bay Street stuff. The stewardship team was thinking about what's new at Mayfair, and here's what we thought we'd ask this year as something new for spring. We'd like you to start thinking about praying about your giving. Either your financial giving or the giving of your talents, the giving of your time, however you give. And it could be about giving to Mayfair United Church, or that might put you in a box right away and kind of stymie you. Think about how you give to the world in general. All the ways that you love to give or haven't been. To Mayfair, to the church, to the world, to the Mission Service Fund. And think about praying about that. We've said it in our letters before, and we've said it in worship during stewardship programs before, but we haven't actually paused to actually talk about what that might look like. Kind of said, oh, well, pray about your givings, as if you all knew what that might look like. You know, we did the IMNA survey as a congregation last in the month of March, and one of the results that we found out was that, in fact, people at Mayfair, high percentage of us, don't connect our faith life with our giving life. I'm not sure why that is, and I'm not going to use that as a huge judgment, but it's a great idea to connect your discipleship, your faithfulness, who you are at that deep value with giving in the world and giving in the church life. And here's what I thought. Sometimes when we say things like your faith life or go pray about it, that's a box right there. It's like last week when I said church. You know, we have these words we use and they get us kind of boxed up. I want you to imagine pausing in your day sometime, maybe before you go to bed or first thing in the morning or whatever, pausing in your day and just becoming open. It could be prayer with words. It could be meditation, which is an opening to the world. It could be just calmness, where the rest of our busy stuff gets pushed aside. That's what we mean about praying about your giving. And here's what happens when we do that. When we pause, I knew a minister once, he said he takes off his shoes. Every time he wants to be prayerful, takes off his shoes and sets them aside, and that's his physical reminder of what he's about to do. You might want to try that. Might be with a cup of tea. There's many different ways we can kind of trigger our movement into a time of quiet, a time of openness. And I think what happens then is that we get connected to our deep values. Those are the things that we ignore most of the day as we rush about. You know, when we're busy and family and life and work gets in the way. When we pause and we pray, we meditate, or we fall open, or we become mindful, there's many words for it, we get connected to that which we really, really actually care about. We're reminded of ourselves. Oh, yeah, that's what Dave Dave. That's what Dave looks like. I've forgotten today. But also we get to remember what God might be like in our lives. And we get to remember what we really care about. If you look at it that way, do you think that's something new you could try in the weeks to come? Could you try the newness of pausing and connecting that pause with thoughts about giving? And just see how they might, it's a mystery to me how they will interconnect in your life. It's a mystery to me how it might interconnect in my life because I don't do it very well either. We're on the same journey. I was part of that survey too. Connecting our life and our deep values and what we believe with the giving that we live out in the world. And guess what? Just like what I said with the kids, I believe God will meet us there in that quietness. God will meet us when we connect with our deep values. As one that Frederick Buechner said, a famous author, he said, discover where your deep joy meets the world's deep hunger. Where does your deep joy and your deep values meet the world's deep hunger and needs? Let's try that as a new spring thing. When you step into the sun maybe for the first time in the morning, or when you're sitting out on the porch at night, pause for just a little moment and put giving into your heart. And let's see what can happen.